So we've been doing Turf Science Live events now for 3 days, and we've visited Aston Villa Football Club, the Liverpool Academy, and Slaley Hall Golf Club. So they're sort of mixed attendees, but not necessarily ICL and Syngenta customers, but you know, the great and the good, hopefully, of the turf industry. The Turf Science Lite is a partner event where Syngenta and ICL like to take the opportunity to talk about our products, talk about the research we do to them, and also talk about the advice that we give to help turf professionals get the best out of their turf.
Came along today. Obviously, we realise as a team of staff and how important these days are just for upgrading education, learning new things. You know, one thing about the industry we work in is that everything changes so quickly, and you're always learning. Every day's a new day. So we've brought myself and a team of 3 lads here today just to understand. I think it's good for the education of the lads as well to see what's going on out there, new products. And ICL, there's no question, certainly when things move forward, ICL have a massive part in that. And within our industry, they're also a massive player in educating people around the country.
They're quite interested in learning about the seed and the little kind of the touch choice, learn about different subjects within seed, and it's quite interesting just to see some things I think we are doing right in terms of seed bed establishment, etc., and also seeing what types of seed to use at different times of the year, whether we should go for the creeping rise, etc., or stick with what we all know. So it's quite informative, so I took a bit from that, yeah.
Come to quite a few of these, as many as we can, because we find them invaluable, really, just for the little bits of expertise you don't always pick up on, or just little bits of knowledge what you can gain. We always try and say that if you learn one thing, it's worthwhile. Yeah, the seed was interesting. It's not something you think that much about, but having an expert talk about different topics within is, it's different. Good.
The control release fertilisers, that was quite interesting. Also, something we touched on briefly was about seaweeds. That is particularly interesting because given the kind of year we had last year, I think myself and a lot of other greenkeepers are looking at the things we add into our spray mixes and our maintenance regimes to encourage sort of resilience in the soil, to maintain moisture and soil activity. So things like seaweeds and that kind of stuff is very interesting.
Today we've been outside looking at the practical demonstrations, and they've both been really fascinating because they've both focused on how do we get the best out of the products we have, how do we get optimum efficacy or efficiency when we're applying, whether it's wetting agents, fungicides, liquid nutrition, granular nutrition. It's all about getting the best bang for the buck, longest release and sort of efficacy, and the technologies that go into that, and all the stages that we really need to focus on to get the best possible effect.
I like these sort of informal days, but with a lot more you hear the background noise, and I think it's just good to meet everybody else and get their experiences. So I think I like these sort of smaller events. You get to talk to a lot more people. Obviously we use a lot of ICL, different fertilisers for the various things, but I was interested in the spraying and where the chemicals are going, because I think it's a massive part of our industry now, and how we get the best out of the materials that are supplied to us. And so we have to be, as course managers, grounds managers, be able to put it in the ground correctly with the most efficiency. And I think that's something that I've come away with already this morning. That's the way forward.
So we cover a lot of ground. We've covered a lot of ground with the 3 events, and hopefully the attendees have come out of it bigger and better with plenty of things to think about.